Hey guys, I just got this cool thing in the mail, and I'm not gonna lie, I started ripping it open. Also, my cat is right here blocking my sun. Yes, thank you, helpful cat. Um, get your butt out of here. So, the wrapping is so cute, so I really wanted you guys to see it. Whoop-a-cha! This is from an Etsy seller, and it is vintage watercolors. So, tiny, look at how cute this is. This, I believe, is a strip of magnets, because I asked for a tin with magnets. I don't want to open this, it's too pretty. This I have not opened before. I got into the inner packaging and I was like, oh, this is so cute. I should share the cuteness. Because who doesn't want things wrapped up with twine? Especially if you're a cat. Right, cat? Yes, helpful cat. Here you go. Here's your twine. These are so cute. I love like the vintage like fruit label things. I think they're so fun. In general, oh my gosh, so many layers of very careful wrapping. I, in general, love vintage things. Okay, here's the top. Honey, you are very much blocking my light. Look at you with your cute face blocking my light. Don't you want to play with this string somewhere? This string right here? She's so over the string now. So, yay! These are vintage Rembrandt watercolors that I bought from an Etsy seller that I will definitely put a link to down in my description. Aren't they cool looking though? Look at how beefy my thumbs look. Burp, 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 burp. To how tiny these adorable little things are. Okay, we're just gonna... I want to open one, but I don't know which one I want to open. Okay, we're going to open this violet. This is really cool. Oh my gosh. The writing on here is very little. Okay, how do I get this open without ruining it? Is that the opening part? Tiny step chewing on my paintbrushes. Especially not that one, that's a nice one. Okay, I'm really trying. I'm trying to get this open without hurting it. It is not working. Maybe I will slice this open. Maybe I'll slice this open in a way that doesn't involve me cutting my own thumb. You know you guys are impressed that I did not just slice myself open. There's got to be a way in. I don't want to wreck the label. Oh, also they might be very sticky. Maybe I should put them in the freezer because this is like the least satisfying thing ever. I don't know if it'll help. I mean, like, these are like, I want to say they're from the 80s. So like they just, you know, it doesn't feel sticky. So this might just be how they're all gonna open. Yeah, there's color in there, I swear. So, yeah. I am going to do a whole video of these where we just paint in my sketchbook and have lots of fun. So you'll be able to see what they look like. But this is what the, oopsie, this is what the label looks like. Yeah, isn't that cool? Well, hello again, everybody. It is voiceover Annie Noodle here, and I went ahead and opened all of these off camera, and the only one that was really bad for stickiness was that purple. That top left yellow stuck a bit too, but most of them just opened fine, and it was a very satisfying experience, and I'm sorry that you missed it. And here are all of the swatches that I did. That Rembrandt blue-green is probably like my favorite color ever, and I don't usually like tealy greens like that, but oh yeah, that's a lovely color. So I did a sketch in my sketchbook, and I decided this is the Hanamule sketchbook that I've been using lately, and I decided I wanted to do some masking in there because I had some problems with my masking tape sticking, and I wanted to see how masking fluid did. Here's a spoiler, don't use masking fluid in this book. I will not be buying another one of these. Yep, I'm just not impressed with the paper enough. Like, I understand that there's not a lot of 100% cotton watercolor sketchbooks in the world, but meh. Oh, and I found this palette at Goodwill. I'm so excited. Yeah, so you get to see it. It had some scrumblies in it. But yay, it was $1.99. Woo! Yeah, I love finding art stuff at Goodwill. Anyways, so what we are painting today is a scene from Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power TV show that is on. So we are painting a young Elrond sitting in a tree, writing a speech for his big boss guy. The color that you see me mixing right now is going to be used in the background, so that very vibrant tealy blue is too vibrant. So I'm toning it down with some of the reddish browns, and then purpling it up with some of the purple, because I think I'm going to start with the mountains and put those in, and they have kind of a purpley bluey tint to them. So that's what I'm doing here. And you can see how much masking fluid, all of that kind of off-white stuff on the paper is all masking fluid. And as per my usual, I did all the get the paper very wet stuff before I turned on the camera so that you guys didn't have to just watch me wave my arm around over this paper for 5 minutes. So I'm just defining the edge of the mountain, and I want the edge where I am going over right now to be a lot darker. So I eventually go over it with a black, I think. There I go. So I go over it with a black and then I blend that out. I've really been enjoying the Rings of Power. I love Lord of the Rings. I would like to say that I've loved them since I was a little kid, but I didn't read the books until I was 20, and one of my coworkers was like, I cannot even believe you haven't read that. They're like the best books in the world. And so I read them, and I agree. They are definitely some of the best books in the world. Here I am adding some purpliness to the base of the mountains to intensify their purplification. So, yeah, I do really love Lord of the Rings, though, and I have recently decided to stop being such a salty old woman about things. Like, yeah, I just need to not care as much that things don't match the books enough, and just try to enjoy movies for, being moving pictures with words and music, instead of, like, being angry that they're not enough like the books. And so here I am starting in some green, bloopity bloopity bloop, and I decided, when I started out, I was trying to leave white gaps besides the lumps that I masked that I wanted to turn into flowers, just for variation to try to fill in with different colors later. And then I decided that was annoying, so I just kind of went splurp, splurp, splurp everywhere with my paint of varying colors. I started adding in some yellow, and later I add in browns and different greens and yellows and oranges and all sorts of stuff into the ground color, because grounds are all sorts of colors. Just like people. Not so much with the green people, though. Yep, those are aliens. So, anyways, yeah, there are some exceptions to my I'm just gonna stop being such a big, grumpy curmudgeon about movies based on books that I love. One of those exceptions is The Gunslinger. That movie does not exist in my personal world. No, they could have made that amazing, and instead they made that. Yeah, so other than this mention of it, if you ever talk to me about it, I'm just going to pretend like I don't know what you're talking about forever. And here's me having an epic battle trying to get cat hair off my painting and then just giving up. I love having cats, guys. Yeah, speaking of, so I was going to do like something more epic for this week's video, and you're kind of getting this as chill as Annie ever gets video this week instead, because last night my bestie and I were out. We do Bible study at our park every Monday, just me and him. We walk around, chat, talk about the Bible. It's like an hour, and sometimes it's like 10 minutes of Bible study and like 50 minutes of just chatting about stuff. And sometimes it turns into an hour and a half Bible study. It really just depends, like, what kind of, like, what we're right now. My church is reading the entire Bible together as, like, a congregation, so, like, it kind of depends upon what passages we've read this week. Anyways, so Bible study, we're at the park, and, I am watching, if you know what a hummingbird moth is, watching them fly around, and it's really cool because they look like little hummingbirds, only they're moths. So I'm watching a whole bunch of them swarming around this bush because you don't usually get to see a lot of them. And wow, there was a lot of them out last night. And I, probably stopped in the middle of a sentence and I'm just staring off into, space, watching moths fly around. And my friend is like, "Oh, did you see the kitten over there?" And I'm like, "What?" And there is seriously a kitten in my line of sight that I have not noticed because I've been watching these moths fly around, right? So I go over there, and this kitten will come within an arm's length of me, but will not let me pick it up or touch it. And you can see that it is skinny, and you can tell by the way it's acting that somebody dumped their pet. More on that in just a minute. I will talk a bit about painting for now. So, I have let the grass dry and taken off the masking fluid on the grass, and now I'm going over and doing this layer of yellow happy trees. Happy, happy trees. And so, bright yellow, and then I do like some orange to show shadows, and then some kind of a reddish brown to show like the next layer of shadows, and now I'm putting in a darker brown at the very bottom to show like the deepest shadows. And I kind of just repeat that process again in the rest of the painting. There's like a happy yellowy top that I try to blur out so that it kind of fades over into where the swatches are. And then the leaves in the sky also are very yellowy, and I don't do anything else with them. Like, I don't touch them after this because, yeah, I think I might have to go back in with some gouache on those and in some other parts of this. Even though it's a sketch, those blobs that I left, like, on the tree leaves in the foreground, I'm, like, deeply embarrassed by it. Like, I did no planning there. It's so bad. So the difference between the left side over here where I am is these trees are a little bit closer. So I'm trying to keep these shadowy bits kind of clumped together so that you can kind of it's easier to read that as closer trees. And I'm also trying to, over there by closer to where Elrond is, remember to paint around the foreground tree leafy blobs. Yeah, so that's important to do. Paint around the foreground blobs if you want to paint in watercolors and you don't have masking fluid on them anymore. So, back to the kitty. Yeah, so I go over there and I am trying to get this kitty to come to me, and he comes close and he's meowing and he clearly wants, and he's like, you know, when a cat wants you to pet it and it rubs its little adorable face on things and then looks at you? That's what he was doing. Oh, the cute little beast. And it was a kitten. Like, it was not like my kittens who are, you know, all several years old. No, no. This was an actual kitten. It was probably about 4 months old that somebody had dumped. And just, by the way, I don't honestly care what you think of me for saying this. If you dump your pets instead of taking them to a shelter or finding them a new home when you can't take care of them or they become too much of a annoyance or a hassle for you, I think you're a horrible person. I just do not care what you think of me. You know, it's funny. I won't talk about politics or religion on this channel except to say I do Bible study. Like, that is the most in-depth I'm going about like my religion ever on here. But I will say I think that you're a horrible person if you are abusing or neglecting animals or people. Okay, but oh, I'm just still really upset, guys. I am really upset that I had to. Okay, so I did save the kitten. Like, I did catch him. My friend Alan went home and got food while I stayed at the park with the kitten, and like it went and hid under like this little deck, and I just kind of laid by the deck and talked to it, and it would come back out and meow at me, and he brought food, and this is the saddest thing, okay? The poor sweet kitten who I named Frederick. I did not keep Frederick. Frederick is at the shelter. Frederick is doing just fine. I called about him. But little kitten heard the car pull up and ran out to see who it was, to see if they were coming back for him. Like, the look of hope on that poor baby's face. So, no, I can't even. And I know I'm not talking about my painting anymore, but this is just, I can't even. So, you might wonder why I did not bring Frederick home with me. And the reason is that I have 3 cats already, and there's only one of me in this house. Like, I live by myself with my cats, and 3 is the limit I set for myself for per adult human living in a house, maximum 3 cats. Otherwise, you descend into crazy cat lady territory. And I'm not, I'm trying not to go there, guys. Any more than I already have. I know my station is 90, or my channel is 90% cats, but like, I'm trying. But I am going to keep a very close eye on Frederick and make sure that he gets adopted. And I just love the snot out of that poor sweet baby. Like, the second I finally got him picked up, he tried to escape, and then he buried his cute tiny head in like the pit of my elbow and hid there. And as soon as I started petting him, it was purring. Constant purring. He stopped trying to get away. He sat with me quietly until I had the local police come and pick him up, because we don't have like a humane society that's staffed well enough to come and pick up animals. So, yeah. But he's doing well. I talked to them today, and yeah, I will keep an eye on him. And if he does not get adopted, within 6 months, I will probably adopt him anyway. Like, I just can't. I He's been through so much already. I think it's horrible. It's so horrible for animals when they get attached to a family. And to be surrendered to a shelter is bad enough. Like, that's hard. And it happens sometimes. Like, sometimes things happen and they have to get surrendered. Okay, like, it happens. But it's hard on them. And, like, to be just dumped at the park, and he was so skinny. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I know it's depressing. Look, I'm painting with a rigger brush, and for some reason, in the middle of painting the tree, I just stopped and decided I needed to paint Elrond's, like, cloak, but just, like, little bits of it, and then I moved back to the tree. I had no attention span while I was painting with that rigger brush. Like, I would just, like, I'd be doing a cool line down the trunk, and then I'd get distracted and draw little dots places. And yeah, I'm sure you noticed it while I was chatting about Frederick. Um, and yeah, I'm really sorry if I brought you guys down. I feel like you guys will understand. Like, you're there watching my slightly zany, like, art channel with cats. So I feel like you're my people, and you'll understand why I'm so upset that I'm still talking about it a day later. But you guys, if there's anything that I missed talking about in this video because I was talking about Frederick the, like, entire time, like, please let me know in the comments, and I will happily touch on anything you would like. So here I am going through branches to try to make it look like there is a tree there. I actually really like, except for, like, the weird, misshapen, yeah, this is, like, my favorite part where I just drop the brush and leave, like, splops all over. Yeah, it's okay. I clean them up right away. They come right, like, they just blend out. It's fine. But that rigger brush has, like, the shortest handle. It's so weird. Thumbs up! Everything's fine. Okay, so... And here I'm starting to try to paint Elrond's super tiny face. Guys, I don't paint any sort of tiny things like this, so, like, be gentle, okay? Like, I made it look sort of like a face. I'm not gonna say it looks like Elrond, but it's a face. We're good there. So, funny thing, Elrond, like, you'll see at the end of this video that I call this little sketch Young Elrond. And Elrond is about 1,500 years old in the Rings of Power. And so he's about, I think, 6,400 years old in, like, the Lord of the Rings trilogy / The Hobbit. Like, those take place, fairly close together for an elf. Yeah. So, yeah. This is about 3,000 years or so before, like, The Hobbit happens. Yeah. So now I'm doing the background trees, which I love how all the background trees turned out. I had a lot of fun painting all of these little trunks into the background tree blobs, and, like, my kind of rule was just, like, try to stick to the dark blobby places because that's where you see the trunks anyways. Like, yeah, that's just the way trees work because, yep, because physics and light and stuff like that. Trunks live in the dark blobby bits for the most part, and then sometimes you get little sticks coming out. Yeah. I am exhausted today, though, guys. Like, that's why we're having a low-key, super chill video for Annie's sake this week. Because I just really, I don't know, I'm really upset about that poor kitten. It's such a... The world is full of tiny baby kittens who need me to rescue them, and I can't save them all. But I don't meet them all. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it really is just, oh boy, I'm trying to paint his face. It's not horrible. It's not horrible. It's fine. Yeah. So I can't save them all, but now I've met him and I feel responsible for making sure he's okay. I'm sure you guys understand. Anyways, so yeah, if any of you guys are watching The Rings of Power, let me know. I'd be really curious to know what you think of them. Or actually what you thought of the Hobbit movies, because I rewatched them trying to keep in mind that I don't need to be a giant grouch. And they aren't horrible. They aren't as horrible as I remember them being, as long as I don't try to think of how much they're not like the book. There are still some really, really questionable parts in there, even leaving out the fact that they're nothing like the book. And I don't know why. Can you guys explain to me, if you've watched them, why Legolas's eyes bother me? Like, did they do something weird to his eyes? I'm gonna start watching like the the Lord of the Rings books. Or yeah, I'm gonna start watching those, the rest of the what is the word for six? Nope, it's gone. I don't have it. Sixtology of the movies tomorrow. So like the second trilogy, which came out first. I don't know why they have to keep doing that to us. But I'm gonna watch like the Lord of the Rings movies starting tomorrow. So I'll probably figure out what's bothering me about Legolas's eyes. But there's just something that I like look and I'm like, that's not right. Is it just that like they CGI'd him to look younger? I don't know what it is. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, there's some very questionable CGI stuff going on in those movies, the Hobbit movies. Yeah. Anyways, so let me know what you guys think of those movies. I have some more fan art that I would like to do from them. I don't do a lot of fan art, but I mean, you just kind of get in a mood sometimes, and I really wanted this one to be a little bit more detailed, and yeah, I might come back to it, but I might just move on. It's a sketchbook, and I learned a lot, such as I need to be more precise using shapes to make tree shapes in the sky so they don't look like weird blobs, but maybe maybe it's just charming. Yeah, I'm getting pretty close to done here. I'm just putting in some kind of leafy spots on the ground, and then I'm blending out the ones that are farther back because they are not supposed to be so vibrant. What else can I tell you? Oh, and I'm putting in this really cool, like, dark grassy bit that led, like, straight from the tree down to, like, the veiled elf messenger lady who was coming to talk to Elrond. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, mostly I just put, like, dark spots in under the flower blobs and kind of went all over with interesting colors until it kind of felt like it had a good flow to it. This is the part where I remembered that there were some rocks / tree stumps here that I just had neglected to put in at all. So I went back and did those. And if you see it, like, I'm trying to respect the, like, white blobs in front of the base of the tree, so, like, paint negatively around those so that I don't obscure them. I think that hand wiggle might have meant that I am done. So there are a few spots where the masking fluid ripped on this page, and there's also a couple spots where the masking tape ripped on this page. And yeah, I am not impressed with this paper. I don't know, it's also, like, these pages curled up a lot, so I don't know. That was me checking the date because I can never remember what date it is, and that was me fighting to get cat hair out of my fountain pen because that's just my life. But hey, I wrote the correct year down. I feel like that's a major win. And we are basically to the end of the video, guys. I really appreciate all you guys being out there and hanging out with me while I paint. I'm planning on doing more sculpting, so if you guys have any ideas for me, I'm hoping to get a sculpture video up next week. Fingers crossed. And there's the finished page. So you guys have a really great week, and yeah, let me know if you've ever rescued a cat. Let me know what you think of this painting. If you're using the Hanmule sketchbook, let me know what you think of that if you're having these problems with it too. And I will link that Etsy store down in the description below in case you want to try out vintage Rembrandt watercolors too, you know? Yes, Annie. The tree, it's awful. It's awful. Okay, bye-bye.